Welcome to the OmniDog and TBone show, where we're going to be jumping in with our man from Batter Days with the Batman Turtles book. Is it? Did I get the wrong video? Is this the wrong video?
Yeah, we're doing X-Force today. This is OmniDog and TBone talk about X-Force. It's next week that we're going to be talking about Batman and TMNT. Next Saturday.
I swear I had on my calendar that it was today. I should have known when Taylor wasn't here. I just thought he was going to show up late. So awkward. So unprofessional.
He might show up late, but because he's late a lot. But
this is extremely unprofessional. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Oh boy, the viewers at home. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. So let's just. You know what? Can we just cut? Can we cut the camera?
No, I don't do that. I don't know how to do that.
Cool. Let's cut. Let's start over.
Yeah.
Hey gang. Welcome to the OmniDog and TBone show, where today we're going to be talking about X-Force.
That's right. We're going to be talking about X-Force and X-Men and New Mutants.
And
the New Mutants.
New Mutant. Oh my gosh, this is.
Is that your new phone?
Hello, sir. Yes, let's talk. Yeah.
We told me you got a new phone. I didn't know how big.
This is how I use my new phone. This is it right here. All right. So we read X-Force as a trigger by the action figures that came out from Marvel Legends.
Right.
We got some awesome figures, and we were like, it feels bad that we don't know anything about these characters.
That is exactly right. We got Boom Boom and Shattershot. What's his name?
Shatterstar. Shatterstar. You were so close.
I know. Shatterstar and Cannonball and Domino and of course Deadpool and Cable.
I gotta pick up Domino still. I don't have Domino.
Oh,
that's shameful. What am I doing with my life?
I got her for cheap at the Baltimore con, so I think you should be able to find her for pretty cheap.
Okay, good.
They were like giving her away practically.
And we got Rain, who I can tell you, Rane. Maybe someone in the comments can let us know how to pronounce that name. But whoever that is not feral. Can confirm. Did learn in this run, not feral.
Right.
There you go.
Ronnie or Rahaney. She's out on the mantle fighting Shadow King right now. So
that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. If you guys haven't seen Action Figure Friday, what are you doing with your life? Go do it. Pause this video. Watch Jess build his awesome diorama. Set it all up. It's amazing. It's the best thing you'll ever see.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Action Figure Friday. So we had these action figures. We knew nothing about them. And we had Cable and X-Force and Deadpool and X-Force. But we didn't have the book X-Force.
Yep.
And before it got any more expensive, from like free, people were giving it away to like $65.
I mean, seriously, it was on Marvel clearance eBay for like 4 years at $30. They could not give this book away. And now it's shooting up in price. It's not ultra expensive though yet, but it's definitely more expensive than it was for sure. Yeah. And I think part of it for me was going into this read, I love the 90s, but I knew it was like really ultra niche 90s, and the price in the omnibus, quite frankly, I felt like, boy, people just must hate this book. Like it just must not be that good because it's on Marvel clearance and had been there for 3 years. So I just kept telling myself, I'll pick it up later. Like whenever I really sit down and want to read it, I'll buy it. And then the price shot up, but thankfully we were both able to snag copies. And we were told before jumping into the X-Force Omnibus that we had to read some stuff, right?
Right. My friend.
By an expert.
Yes. My friend Patrick from Germany, Patrick Kinderwater.
Oh, I thought it was Omar who told you. No, Patrick sounds like an expert. Omar's the expert.
Well, Patrick's the one that I sent pictures of my hardcover and softcover X-Men collections to, and he wrote out because they were a mess. They were not in order at all. And he sent back the order they should all be in. So he is a total hero.
That's awesome.
He organized my complete X-Men collections. And there was a lot of books, as you know, there's an awful lot of X-Men books.
Boy, you ain't kidding, brother.
And so now I'm starting to actually read them. And so he said, before we just dive into X-Men, we had to read the X-Force, Cable, and New Mutants. And then after that, I think this is kind of optional. The X-Tinction Agenda, it just tells you about Genosha.
Yep, but we read it.
We read it. It was good. Just summing it up. And then this is sort of a fast one, they tell you, to read the first 14 issues in this omnibus. To get to the 14 issues, you have to read like half the Omni to get to them. And by the time you're done with the 14 issues, you're left with a couple of Cable issues at the end.
Yep.
So you really have to read pretty much the entire Omni of X-Force to get to those 14 issues.
So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
My favorite line in Spider-Verse, like, let's start from the beginning. I'm Spider-Man. So I thought going into it, not knowing anything about New Mutants and X-Force, really, I thought that X-Force was going to be the thing that I really enjoyed, and New Mutants was the thing that I forced myself to get through to understand X-Force. But wow, I was blown away at how much I enjoyed what little bit of New Mutants we read. I felt like, for me personally, whenever I read teen books, especially these days, I feel like the teenagers, I started with an issue of Vulture, which is totally random. I feel like the way that teenagers are written, it's almost like you can tell it's an old guy who thinks this is what teenagers act like. But I really felt like the writer of New Mutants did a very good job of capturing what it was like to be a kid. Now, of course, there's a lot of 90s slang. Of course, it's 90s writing. The whole run is very 90s writing. Yeah. But in the way that the characters communicated and interact with one another as kids, they really did a good job of making you feel like, man, these are kids in a really rough, war-like powers fighting situation. And that was extremely refreshing. It made me want to go back and read more New Mutants, like from before this stuff.
Yeah, this is Louise Simonson writing with Rob Liefeld, the famous run with Rob Liefeld's art. And I think
look at that picture.
Yeah, this is some of Louise Simonson's this is her handiwork to make it so interesting. This shows how good of a writer she really is, because I think this is some of the best stuff, because it's got that that Rob Liefeld art that everybody was loving on, and then it's got the really good writing by Louise Simonson. And for the record, I saw lots of feet being drawn. Yeah. And I mean, they weren't bare feet. They were, shoes.
Yeah, I mean, you got some skinny shoes here.
Yeah.
Skinny feet. There's not a lot of detail on the feet, and he does hide feet some. Like it's a meme for a reason.
Here's some bare feet.
Let's see it. Come on.
Yeah, let me show it.
Highlight yourself.
Yeah, here's some bare feet right here.
Look at those bare feet. Look at that.
Yeah, so he did a good job there.
Yeah. So if you could throw it back to me, this is, or just like to both of us.
It's not all about you.
Jess, come on, Jess. So like, this is a cover, no feet. Like, I get why the criticism's there, but I don't know. And we've talked about this before, but you could throw it back to both of us now. But okay. I just love to see your face. Your beautiful shining face. And you have your goatee back. I just noticed that.
Yeah.
It's grown back. It's a good looking goatee.
Thank you, buddy.
I felt like, people like to hate on Rob Liefeld, especially like the exaggerated Captain America picture that everybody really hates on.
Yeah.
But overall, he was like the stuff in the 90s. He was super popular. Like people in the 90s genuinely loved him. And it's his unique style, but I actually found the art to be quite enjoyable at most of the time.
I liked it.
Me too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like the guy gets a bad rap, and especially like let's see if I can find this. There was one issue where they had somebody, it was in the New Mutants 92. They had another artist come in, and it really, really made me appreciate Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
Like, look at Cable. What is that? It almost looks like a weird Mike Allred, right?
Like Elvis almost.
Like, I don't know. So it really made me, the issues that he did not draw made me appreciate him a lot more. And then, of course, there's some great guest artists. I guess we're kind of talking about the art. I guess this is the art section. We're doing it.
All right.
But I loved this cover, dude. Loved it.
Yeah, these are all like famous covers.
That was a McFarlane cover. This was McFarlane, but man, I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
Just something so great about it.
These covers are all famous covers from that era. I remember reading these back in the 90s. I did actually read these comics back in the 90s.
Did you? That's awesome.
I remember Warlock and everything, and I remember all these Sabretooth and all these dudes and Boom Boom always trying on the outfits and everything, trying to get attention.
Didn't you think her character was so well written? I just really thought her point of view of character, maybe it gets annoying after a ton of issues, but in the issues that I read, I thought it was solid stuff. I felt like maybe you can chime in, because again, this came out in what, 92, 93?
Let's see.
Guessing. My first issue of X-Men comics that I read was in 96, 95 or 96, I believe, and it was a crossover with Spider-Man. It had Marrow and Spider-Man on the cover of the issue. So this was like just a few years before I got into comics.
This is 1990.
Okay, so this is so that's a good bit before I got into comics. Maybe by the end of the run, it was closer to 92, but
yeah.
I feel like even though it was 90s, this was great stuff. Even now, I felt like it still held up.
Yeah, I feel like maybe 90 is when New Mutants. I feel like 92 is more like when this stuff was put out.
Yeah.
I don't think it was 90. I think it was more like 92.
So did you like the crossover, the art and the crossover with Spider-Man? Because I loved it.
Where is that?
That was halfway through the X-Force omnibus.
Oh, yeah.
But with a Juggernaut.
One?
Yes.
The sideways one? Yeah.
Yes. Didn't you think that was so cool? Oh my gosh. I thought that was gorgeous. Like, look at this.
How did we jump to that?
Well, we were just talking about the art, and it just made me think about, this was probably, in terms of the art, my favorite issues of art, because I thought this was so cool how they did the double panel. We got the giant double panel of art, and then we got it was all sideways.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever read a comic that's done that for more than a panel, like a page rather.
I know. Show how big the Cable, the one shot of Cable.
Let's see if I can find it.
I've got it right here.
Yeah, pull it up if you've got it. Let's see. Oh yeah, here. Oh yeah, you got it. Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that is sick, dude.
Yeah.
Really
cool.
I thought from an artistic standpoint, and of course, I love Spider-Man, so like, come on. But I thought from an artistic standpoint, that was the high point for me, for sure. So even though the art gets a lot of hate, I give it a solid 3 out of 3.5.
Why would the art get hate? These are fun issues.
I agree totally.
Fun.
Yeah, I totally agree.
The story. No, wait. Who's writing this? Is this Liefeld writing this?
It's Fabian Nicea for a while.
Nicieza?
I'm sorry.
Well, I
never say his last name right. I thought it was Nicea.
Only Omar can approximate. Special by Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane story. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know that I used to bust on McFarlane for the story and stuff, but he got better as he went along.
Yeah,
he got better as he went along, and I mean, this was a fun issue with X-Force and Spider-Man, because as he got better as he went along because he's actually started writing a story and stuff. So
just showing some of the high points from the art over the X-Force book. And again, when you throw in, I don't remember who this random artist was.
Joe Bag of Donuts.
Joe Bag of Donuts. Let's see if I can find. I don't remember. Oh, what about the issue? Let me flip over to this. This is one thing I wanted to talk about on the art. Mike Mignola did an issue. That was cool. I honestly didn't even know that he had done an issue of X-Force, but I thought that was really cool. I mean, it's his classic style, but like, I don't know. I thought it worked. I liked it.
Yeah.
But no, I absolutely appreciate the Liefeld art. Again, no feet. I get it.
I think the reason it works is because it's Rob Liefeld plot and art and Fabian Nicieza words.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point.
Nicieza takes the plot and then actually constructs the story out of it. And so I think that's why it works in this larger X-Force omnibus.
What did you think about the story? Like tell me all right, let's break it into 3 sections.
Okay.
We'll talk about New Mutants.
Yeah.
And then
those were good stories to lead into it. Those New Mutant stories.
Agreed. Let's talk about New Mutants first. Yeah, sure. I loved them. I mean, I mentioned earlier, I thought that the writing was really fun. I really enjoyed the characters. I did think that X-Tinction Agenda was a little unnecessary to read outside of a little bit of information that's not referenced all that much, with like one character staying behind, and it kind of it adds to, I guess, if you wanted a full picture of like what happened to the New Mutants, where do they all go, how do they break up, it would add to that. But in terms of if your goal is to read the X-Force omnibus, I felt like it's not necessary by any stretch. Even some of those early issues of New Mutants probably weren't super necessary. Jess and I were laughing. We were talking the other day, and we were talking about how Cable just kind of like showed up, and how like very little of what we know his power set to be now is ever referenced or used even in these first issues. He's just like a dude with a metal arm, a military background, and what they think is a bionic eye. Like that's how they refer to it, is his bionic eye. And then you don't really see any effect of his powers. He's just like a soldier guy. And that was interesting to me. I don't know. I guess a lot of character introductions get hyped so much. This one felt a little bit just like it's just another random character, because there were a lot of new characters that I never heard of.
Yeah.
And I think probably were never heard of again, introduced in the first part of the material we read with the New Mutants and such. And so it's interesting, like what characters stuck. Like when we were introduced to Deadpool, again, not necessarily the Deadpool that we have come to know and love him as.
Right.
There's shades of him there, but he's introduced with like a bunch of other people that I never heard of. And I don't know if they ever got used again, but it was just like
Domino and Gideon.
Yeah, like Gideon was one of them.
Is Gideon in the comics today?
I had heard of Gideon. I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like he is. I feel like Gideon's still in there. He may have even been in House of X. I don't know. Somebody can remind me.
Okay.
But there was a couple of characters that were like were thrown in there that I'm like, I ain't never heard of you. I'm never going to hear you again. You are not necessary. You will never get a Marvel Legends action figure.
I don't know, man. I got some pretty obscure ones in this. In a way that I just got.
That's true. But
Domino's still a factor.
Yeah, she's absolutely. And that's what's interesting is it was almost like, let's throw a ton of stuff at the wall, see what sticks, and then run with it. But boy, did they have some winners. Cable, Domino, and Deadpool, all very popular.
Yeah.
All stuck for a long time. So it was interesting, but I did feel like their introductions were lackluster. And one of the things that bugged me is knowing Cable's backstory, knowing that he's, obviously from the future, and who his parents are and what his power set is, it kind of bugged me that everybody, like when he shows up, he's new to us, but everybody he runs into, they're like, ugh, Cable. Like he runs into Wolverine and Wolverine's like, yeah, I know Cable. We go way back.
Yeah.
He runs into Moira McTaggart and she's like, Cable, you look different than I remembered you being. I'm like, how long has Cable known all these people? How long has he been here in this time? I was very confused.
Yeah, and then the agent from S.H.I.E.L.D. knew him.
It's like, what? How did all these people know this character? It almost, to me, is laughable because I feel like at the time they introduced Cable, they didn't know what his backstory was going to be.
Oh, no, they absolutely
Like they had no clue.
No, it's not like there was some, one of those evidence boards with all the random stuff, and they're saying this is Cable. No, they just threw Cable in, made up a bunch of stuff like, oh, Cable, he's back again. Oh, God. That's what they did, and then they just made it up as they went along. The son of Scott Summers or whatever he ended up being.
Oh, that's funny. So there was a reference I did think that was interesting in one of the introductions to one of the books, was they were like talking about where all the X-Men were, and they mentioned, Scott, his baby with Madeline Pryor, got infected, and from Apocalypse they had to send it to the future. Yeah. And I was like, I wonder if at that point they knew it was going to be the baby. They just didn't have any idea how to do it or what.
Marvel editors, you mean?
Yeah, or if anybody, or whoever wrote it. So I don't know, or if that little tidbit was put back in later.
I think there's always a bunch of back and forth and rehashing and rebooting and rejiggering and stuff where they're going, this is this and that is that, and we're gonna do this now, and this guy equals that, and she and him are together now with this guy, and we're doing this, and because at the time, I don't think they have any clue what they're doing.
And this is just further gives fuel to the claim that X-Men in the 90s was the most convoluted comics of all time.
Yeah. Like
it was almost impossible to follow when you take it as a whole. This certainly doesn't hurt that argument.
No, but I still had fun reading. Now, one of the things you've got that takes so long to get through is you've got a ton of crossover annual.
Yes, absolutely. There was like, what was it, 4 or 5 issues with the New Warriors?
Yeah, with and X Factor.
Yeah, there was one with X Factor,
X-Men and stuff, and you've got to get through a bunch of those.
Yeah, before you even start X-Force.
Yeah, before you even start X-Force, but you have to read them because that informs what's going on in the X-Force universe. Coming up in the issues ahead, so you can't just skip them. You've actually got to read them,
which is a caution to anybody who wants to read this run on Marvel Unlimited. I would highly suggest you look up a contents order and order contents for X-Force Omnibus Volume 1, so that you know what order to read what in. Because if you just jump into X-Force 1, even if you read the New Mutant stuff, you are going to miss a lot of stuff.
You won't know what's going on. Yeah, because here you can see on the back of the book that it starts with New Mutants 98 through 100, and you got to read that. And then it's got all the annuals that you've got to read too. And you've got to read those, and then starts X-Force.
So what did you think of the X-Force story stuff?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was too hard to follow.
Yeah, I agree.
I followed everything fine, and I do. This is 30 years ago, just about that these books came out, and I remember reading them and collecting them, along with X-Men and stuff. So I thought they were pretty straightforward. They weren't. This X-Force run, I think by itself was fairly self-contained and didn't have too many weird references to, you're only going to get this if you read X Factor 13 or whatever.
Right.
So I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to.
Me too, for sure. I thought this was going to be something I was going to have to get through to be able to enjoy the next two omnibus, which we both got and we're planning to read at some point.
I thought you were going to say in order to enjoy my action figures.
No, I knew I already enjoyed the action figures, but this did add a cool layer. But I thought it was going to be something that I was just going to have to force myself to get through again, because I just went in with such low expectations thinking it just wasn't going to be a good book. But it really surprised me at how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
Who out of all the characters that you were introduced to, what characters stood out to you or as characters that you enjoyed that you didn't expect to like, if any?
I think that would be, well, Deadpool was pretty much a non-factor. He's not.
I agree totally.
He's not the character that we know him to be now. I think that, and Boom Boom is just, she's kind of a cliche, but she's kind of interesting. I think that, let's see, I thought Farrell was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I genuinely had never heard of her before this.
Me either. Yeah. And, that turns out, spoiler, not to be the real Domino. And turns out to be an imposter Domino.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would have said the Domino was the most interesting character.
Yeah,
but she was a fake Domino. So, I think that I think Shatterstar was pretty interesting. He was
my standout as well.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about him, but I thought his personality was roguish and kind of he was a little bit of a gallivanting hero, but I was surprised at how much I liked him. I thought he was really cool. I mean, he's cool. Like the cool factor of like even his white outfit, his hair, his sword look cool, like the energy blast. Like I very much enjoyed Shatterstar, and I actually like Boom Boom. She was kind of even though she was a little bit of a cliche, not knowing anything about her, I thought they made her seem like a real insecure girl who wanted to be loved and accepted by a lot of people. Yeah. But they also kind of gave her a little bit of a bubbly personality, and just something about her power set was really cool to me. Like the ticking time bombs. And I really thought it was cool on the page. I used to see like 3, and then there'd be dialogue and stuff would happen. And then 2, and then there'd be more stuff that happened. And then 1, and then it exploded. I just thought that was cool.
And I will say, this sounds weird, but it makes me enjoy both their action figures more.
Absolutely. Of course.
Because I didn't know jack about Shatterstar or Boom Boom beforehand. And now I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's what that guy is now.
Shatterstar went from being one of my least favorite Marvel Legends figures to one of the cooler ones. And he fits really well in the lineup, the X-Force lineup.
Yeah, and I'm really bummed now because I'm missing one of his swords.
Oh, no.
I know. I don't know where it is. I think Nightcrawler might have stole it, but I'm not sure.
Uncool, dude.
I know. He was in the auxiliary part of the room, and I moved him over to the X-Force shelf, and now I can't find that extra sword. He has at least one sword, so that's cool. But I am missing one sword, so I need to find it.
Well, overall, do you think it was compelling?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it makes me want to read more. I think the next book Patrick said was Executioner's Song. I believe he said was the next book, and then that's a bridge to, I think, Fatal Attractions, and then maybe Deadpool. I'll have to look at the list. I'm not sure when X-Force books come up, but I know Executioner's Song, he said, is next, and he said that's like one of the best books of the 90s.
That's awesome. Well, I trust him inherently because he did give us really good advice.
Yeah.
Like he absolutely gave us great advice on what to read before this, for sure.
Right.
I also found it compelling. It wasn't like it wasn't like I put it down and then went to sleep and was like, boy, I can't wait till tomorrow so I can read it. You know, there's some books that are like super compelling, but it was one of those books where as I would finish an issue, I'd be like, I'm looking forward to reading the next one. Like next time I get to it, this will be a really fun read. So I enjoyed it. It wasn't the absolute best thing I've ever read, but it was fun all the way through.
I agree. And it made me want to read more X-Men.
Mm-hmm. So, which is the ultimate goal. And exactly. And we're definitely going to revisit the X-Force. You know, we started a lot of series on the show and we kind of bounced around a little bit. So we're going to wrap back around. We talked about to one of the series that we've read a few books of next. But at some point, I believe we will be back to the X-Force books.
Yeah, I definitely want to read both of the next X-Force books. I definitely want to read those.
Well, there you go. You got it. From OmniDog and TBone. It gets our stamp of approval.
Right on, man. We think you should read them and revisit the 90s and enjoy it.
And buy the action figures. You won't be disappointed.
That's right. And watch Action Figure Fridays with us.
Absolutely. So next up on our reading schedule, you want to tell the people what they want to know? What are we reading next?
People have been clamoring for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 3.
So it's happening. It is happening.
Yeah. We may need to go back to back because that's what people really want to hear is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from us.
And then after that, Jess made maybe the best decision of 2019 and got some very good books.
I think I already found a place to, I think they may already be on a shelf.
Oh, goodness gracious. Be still my heart. I'm so glad they've made it to your shelving. And we're going to be diving into those books after TMNT for sure. And it's going to be a fun time.
Are you going to tell them what it is or are you going to make them wait?
I think I'll let them guess. If you made it to this point in the show and you want to take a guess, let us know in the comments what book do you think that I convinced Jess to get to read and review that's coming after TMNT.
And it turns out I'm pretty lucky I got it.
Yeah, that is the truth. That is the honest truth. Absolutely. Well, there you go. That's it from the OmniDog and TBone show.
Right on. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment. We always respond to comments. Hit the like button and please subscribe. And peace and love. Peace and love.